Good morning and welcome to a bonus episode of the Leading Yourself podcast. I thought it was just appropriate to do a short bonus episode to commemorate International Women's Day. Every March 8th, we celebrate International Women's Day and we take an opportunity to recognize the social, economical, cultural, and political achievements of amazing women that are making a difference in the world. And every year, there is a theme to this International Women's Day, and the theme changes every year. And basically, the idea of having a theme every year is to highlight specific issues and challenges that we're facing worldwide. This year, the theme for International Women's Day is Embrace Equity. And embracing equity means to actively and intentionally, and I want to highlight these two words, actively and intentionally, working towards creating a fair and just society where everyone has the opportunity to succeed and to thrive, regardless of anything, right? Race, gender, ethnicity, religion, sexual orientation, or any other characteristic. And of course, because it's Women's Day, there is a big emphasis on gender equity. It means that we recognize and we value the unique experiences and the unique perspectives that everyone with diverse backgrounds are bringing to the table, and that we ensure that everyone has a voice and a seat at the table. And this sounds really, really nice. And I think we've made a lot of progress, but we still have a lot of work to do. Since I started my career, it's going to be coming into 20 years since I started my career. A lot has changed in the workplace. I think when I was just starting my career, I was so naive. I was not aware that this was a thing. And because I was not aware, I was not seeing the differences. I'm very fortunate. I never felt that I was treated differently because I was a woman until later on in my career. But at the beginning, I think it was just that I was naive, so I was not paying attention to it. And when I became aware that this was a thing, I started to see the patterns around me. And I personally felt that I was excluded of certain conversations, certain meetings, certain opportunities because of my gender and other characteristics. And this is what we're trying to eliminate. I don't know that it's possible to eliminate because there's always going to be unconscious biases. And the key here is unconscious, right? We're not aware. It's not that we are intentionally creating biases and differences. So there's always going to be some of that, but how can we minimize it as much as possible? So today, what I want to talk about a little bit is, what does embrace equity mean? And I want to start by asking you, and I think it's important that we all ask ourselves, what does embrace equity or equality mean to you? What does embrace equality mean to you? For me, means walking the walk. I personally believe that talking the walk, talking the talk, it's fake. And I'm not interested on that, right? I think that putting your money where your mouth is and exemplifying and being a role model for those things that you preach is super important and is one of my core values, right? To walk the talk. And that goes a long ways. I think there's a lot of people that talk about equality and all of these things, but then their actions tell something different. Maybe unintentionally, but whether it's intentionally or unintentionally, I can't speak. I think if we all are more intentional in walking the walk and walking the talk, I think we would make a big difference in the world in all aspects, not just equality, but everything, right? I think, equality is nowhere near close. I think that we still have a lot of work to do. And I feel very fortunate that I work with people every day that take this to heart. And I am surrounded by people who walk the walk, that are really advocates for equality, and they're trying really hard in being intentional to ensure that they're creating equal opportunities for everyone. And for me, a lot of times that means taking a pause and reflecting before making decisions or judgments or assumptions, and checking in with ourselves. Am I walking the walk right now? Am I unbiased right now? Or what biases do I have right now that are maybe tinting my view of the situation, or I'm tinting my view on this decision that I'm about to make? And I think if we all just took a pause and asked ourselves some very intentional questions and check in with ourselves, I think that will go really long ways if we didn't do anything else, right? I think it is important to always look for different perspectives as well. So whenever we are making decisions, making sure that we are taking into account different perspectives and different inputs and different views, to make sure that we are not falling into our blind spots, because we all have blind spots, right? And that is the thing. They're blind. We can't see them. So we need to rely on the input and the feedback from other people around us, making sure that we have diverse views and perspectives that we take into account when we're considering making a choice or making a decision. But that for me is embracing equality, right? Is walking the walk. That is how I would summarize it. And what I want to do today is just invite everyone to think about, how are you embracing equality right now, and what could you do more of or less of or different in order to be an advocate and really walk the walk. Now, today is International Women's Day, and I don't know how I feel about that. I feel every day should be Women's Day and Men's Day and everyone's day. But the fact that we have a day that we all, as a community around the world, come together and speak up about the challenges that we are facing is important. And I want to talk as well today on how can we leverage that to make a difference. And maybe we can change the world and we can fix the world's challenges by ourselves. But how can we change someone's world today? So a few ideas that you might want to consider today to commemorate International Women's Day. So for me, this is just a reminder, right? And I like to think about and maybe make a list of different women in my life that are and have been role models for me. Women that I admire because of their accomplishments, because of how they show up, because how they make me feel, or how they have supported me in my life, in my career. And it's an opportunity and a reminder to connect with them or reconnect with them and send them a really short note, just acknowledging the impact that they've had in your life. So take today as an opportunity to reflect on who are those women in your life, and reach out and send them a short note and show your appreciation, your admiration. That can go a long way. And while it will not change the world, it will change their world, or at least their day. You will make their day and you'll put a smile on their face. And that is so valuable, right? There's so much power in doing that. I think the other thing to commemorate Women's Day is, how can you speak up right? This is an opportunity and a reminder to speak up to the things that you're seeing that maybe are not aligned to what you would like to see or to your values. How can you speak up or speak up on behalf of someone else? Or how can you support someone make a more rounded decision, more unbiased decision? I am very privileged that I work in human resources and I get to do that all the time. And it feels good when I'm able to provide a different perspective or ask just the right question at the right time to influence someone to make a more rounded decision and embrace equality as they're making decisions around people in their teams. But you can do that everywhere. You can do that at work, but also outside of work. For me, Women's Day is also an opportunity to celebrate my daughter. You know, a lot of the things that I do today is to make sure that I raise great human beings that are just good human beings, right? I want them to be successful. I want them to be happy, but I want them to be good human beings. And this is a great opportunity to sit down with both my daughter and my son and talk about this topic of embracing equality and what it means, and for them to have their own opinions about what it means and how they, in their own little world, can embrace this and walk the walk. What a great opportunity every time we have a special commemoration for whatever it is to teach that to our kids and install those values in our kids. So those are some ways that you can celebrate and commemorate International Women's Day today. Most importantly is just taking the opportunity to reflect on how can I be part of the solution? What is the little contribution that I can make to make this world a better world? What can I do to walk the walk when it comes to embracing equality? And go do something today. A lot of times we don't take action because we're like, oh, what is this little action gonna do in this big ocean of the world? I can't fix the problem. And if we all think that way, we will never fix the problem. But if we all make our little contribution, it all adds up. So what is your contribution today? What can you do today to embrace equality and walk the talk? I hope you all have an amazing day. To all the amazing women out there, happy International Women's Day. If no one has told you this today, you are inspiring. A lot of times in our journey, we're constantly looking ahead and looking for women or men, people in general that inspire us. And just like I suggested that you reach out to a woman that inspire you, that make a difference in your world, that make an impact in your life, I want you as well to look back, because there's many other women that are looking up to you and they're thinking that you are that person for them. So if no one has told you this before or today, I just want to remind you that you are inspiring and you are a role model for someone else. Someone else is looking up to you. And I think that is a big responsibility that we carry. So how can we be better role models for those that are looking up to us? I want to invite you today to also think about that, right? Not only think about the women that have influence and inspire you, but how can you be that woman for others? Okay, everyone, I hope you all have a great day, and I will talk to you again on another episode of the Leading Yourself podcast.